but you can do this! Oh, oh. What's up guys, Desert Chief here. I am back home in sunny Southern California. It's been a couple weeks on the road here. I was obviously in the last episode you saw touring the Southwest United States with four-wheel campers and their badass Ram 3500 Cummins truck with their Hawk camper on it. It's a really nice truck. I'm kind of bummed that I had to give it back to them, but it's nice to be back home, especially for a couple weeks to get things done around the house, kind of keep up on my own projects. I've obviously got a Toyota truck that I'm working on. Some of you guys may know it's Scarlet is the name of that project. It's kind of on the back burner right now, but it's nice to be able to be home and kind of get things going back here for a few weeks before I get back on the road and do some more videos and stuff. And that leads us into today's episode, which is going to be about my daily driver. And a lot of people are kind of surprised when they find out that I actually don't daily drive a truck. Being the truck editor at Driving Line, yeah, I'd say it's kind of weird, but I gotta be honest, I really love my daily, and I don't think I would really change it for anything right now. At this moment in my life, it is the perfect vehicle. And so that kind of leads us into today's episode, where I'm gonna show you the 5 reasons why my daily driver is the best daily driver on the planet. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys to my daily. I haven't named it yet, but I probably should. So here it is.
Would you put me out at 14910 Northeast 4th Street? You're making contact with the other cab here. And can I get that case number?
So as you can see, what we got here behind me is a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria P71 Police Interceptor. You guys might be thinking, Matt, why would you be driving an old cop car around? But I've got a few really good reasons for why this is the best daily driver on the planet. And it may not be the best daily driver for anybody else, but for me, it's definitely like the best car ever. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why. But first, let's start off with a little bit of history behind the Crown Vic. Ford started producing the Crown Victoria back in 1992, but they've been producing the Panther platform, which also incorporates the Lincoln Town Car and the Grand Marquis from Mercury, ever since the 70s. And actually, little known fact, the Panther platform that Ford put together was the longest running single platform in any North American car ever made. There was definitely a few revisions made over the years. In 1997, they released the new body style, which is the most associated with the cop car that you may see behind me here. And that ran all the way through 2011. This model behind me is a 2008. So it's one of the later models. It has all the nice bells and whistles that you get with the newer model Crown Victoria. Also, over the years, they've upped the power output of these vehicles. I believe they started out somewhere in the high 100s, like 180, 190. And now the most updated Crown Victoria P71 edition, which is the Police Interceptor, puts out 250 horsepower to the rear tires. So yeah, it's not a rocket ship, but man, this thing gets up and goes. I'll show you in a little bit once we get in the car. Beyond the power output of the engine, Ford did a few things to make the Crown Victoria a little bit better and safer for police vehicles in this P71 edition. They put a higher speed drive shaft in it, which is more stable and better for traveling at faster speeds for longer periods of time. From what I've heard, they've changed things like shift points in the transmission to make the thing get up and go faster and get up to a higher speed at a faster rate. You know, chase all those bad guys down the highway. You've all seen the videos. So they're definitely not a fast vehicle, but they're not slow either. I mean, I don't know how to put it. It's like perfect in between for like a daily. Obviously, the Crown Victoria has been used as a fleet vehicle for decades. Police departments have been using it, security divisions have been using it, city and government have been using it. It's just a workhorse of a vehicle, and there's a reason why all these different entities use them so often, and they're still using them so often, is because they're just such a great car. Now, in my eyes, the P71 edition, the Police Interceptor, the Crown Victoria, looks the best. You get all the cool perks that come with it. You get the steel wheels with the chrome hubcaps that just beam authority out of them, and then you get the lights that go on the A-pillars, the spotlights with the swivel handles on the inside. You get the rhino bar on the front of it in case you want to push something out of the way or pit maneuver somebody on the highway or whatever it is you got to do with that thing. And they come in usually black and white. Now, most of the ones you'll buy out there are retired black and white cars. They're required to be painted one color. You can't keep them black and white legally in California, at least. So I've done a few things to mine to make it look more like a civilian vehicle. I've tinted the windows, I've added a light bar to the front bumper, just a few things that you can visually see and make it look different from a cop car. Now, there's also some differences between the P71 on the inside, which separates it from the rest of the Panther platform. The first noticeable thing is it doesn't actually have any carpet. It's got vinyl floors. For some people, they think it's tacky. I actually love it because I am always out in the dirt. And what's really hard to clean out of carpet? Dirt. It's really easy to clean up out of vinyl. You just vacuum it up, you can wipe it down with like a towel or whatever you want to do. Super easy, really convenient. I don't even think it looks that bad. I actually like it. Now, the rest of the interior is pretty bland. I mean, it's just got some gray cloth seats. I actually added this locking center console here, which is made for a Jeep TJ Wrangler from 96 to 04. It actually fits perfectly between the two seats in the front here, and it's got two locking compartments and plenty of storage, and it has cup holders, which is great because this car didn't come with any when I bought it. I've also changed the radio here to an Alpine head unit just so I can get Bluetooth connectivity, and it's a lot nicer than the factory head unit, which didn't even have a cassette player, let alone a CD player, so that kind of sucked. Moving on to the back seat. The back of the front seats here are actually have some material, steel material in them where they're stab proof, so you can't stab through them if you were a bad guy sitting back here in the cop car trying to get at the cop in front of you. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not really planning on any of my buddies stabbing me, but another funny fact is that when you buy a retired black and white, is that the door handles in the back don't work from the inside, and the windows also don't roll down from the inside. So you got to do all that from the front and let your buddies out from the back. As you can see, you got black paint here on the door jambs. The car was painted white to make it legal in California. So obviously my Crown Vic is not a bone stock car. I've done a few things to it to make it look better, in my opinion, and particularly sound better. So I'm gonna start off for y'all, let you know what I'm talking about. A low rumble to it. Sounds pretty good. It sounds just like my old Mustang I had in high school, which also had the 2-valve 4.6 liter, just like this does here. Although this one's a little bit detuned. The Mustangs have a little bit more power output. I think they were at 260 horsepower back then. This one's about 250 for the 08 model. Okay, so the title of this video is the 5 reasons why the P71 Crown Victoria is the best daily on the planet. Now, I'm gonna give you those 5 reasons. Reason number 1, affordability. I mean, everything that has to do with this car is cheap. I actually bought this car for $2,200. I can't really think of a dependable daily that you can have and drive 50 miles a day without having to worry about it for under $2,000. Not to mention one that looks this good. and is this nice on the inside. And it's not like I got some kind of hookup or a fluke or anything. They literally just go for this much. Like, you can look them up on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace, wherever you want. A P71 with about this many miles. Mine's got about 145,000 miles on it. In a 2008 model. So they're not that expensive. They run about $2,000, which blows my mind because it's such a great value for so much car. You get so much car for that $2,000. I've had probably upwards of 30 vehicles in my short time on this planet, and none of them have provided the amount of value you get out of a Crown Victoria for the price that you pay for that car. There's other aspects to it being an affordable vehicle, not just how much you pay for it when you buy it and transfer the title into your name. Fuel economy is part of the affordability. This model Crown Victoria runs on both flex fuel and regular pump gas. So you can run E85, which right now in Southern California is about $2.89 a gallon. It's almost like half of what you pay for gas, which is like upwards of $4.40 depending on where you go. With that, you also get 17 miles per gallon in the city and upwards of 25 miles per gallon on the highway. I know that by today's standards, with like Priuses and, you know, all kinds of hybrids that are out there, 25 may not seem like a lot, but for a truck guy who's used to getting about 12 to 14 miles per gallon in everything he drives, 25 is a godsend. I can drive 400 miles on an 18-gallon tank and still have gas to get to the gas station and not have to worry about it running on fumes. Because this platform has been around for so long, parts are widely available almost anywhere you go, and they're extremely cheap. I mean, you can get stuff for this car for pennies on the dollar compared to most other vehicles. You know, Japanese imports, much more expensive. Even newer domestic vehicles, the parts are getting up there. If you need to do a water pump, an alternator, you know, just knickknacks on the inside, maybe you got a switch that fell out, whatever it may be, I can almost pick up anything I need for this car on Amazon, and I'll have it shipped to my house the next day. And it's cheap. So, very, very happy with how much I have to pay for parts on this thing, because it's really not much. Now, another benefit to it having cheap parts to replace and fix kind of leads me into my next point, which is the second reason why I think this is the best daily on the planet. Reason number 2, dependability. Let's get this straight. A lot of people like to make fun of Fords. They go, oh, they circled the problem for you, ha ha ha, you gotta push your Ford home, ha 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 ha. I have owned many, many Ford vehicles. I've owned Chevys, I've owned Dodges, I've owned all kinds of vehicles, Toyotas. They all have their quirks. I've now owned 2 Crown Victorias, and I've not ran into a mechanical problem with this car yet, or the one I had before, or any of my other buddies who have a Crown Victoria P71. They just don't have any problems. They run forever. I mean, when I say dependability, I mean you see New York City taxis that have over 400,000 miles on the stock motor on them. Sure, they change some things here and there in between then all those miles, but there's no catastrophic engine failure or transmission failure or anything that really makes this thing go kaboom and, you know, it's not worth it to fix it, I'm just gonna go junk it. They can take a beating. I mean, you've seen the way some of these LAPD cops drive these things around here. They beat them up. They jump them, they hop over curbs, they go, you know, they hit other cars with them. They do some gnarly things with these cars, and they just don't give up. I have a lot of friends who drive expensive vehicles and they think they're all cool and nice and whatever, but half of them are always in the shop. They're always being worked on. Oh, but it's under warranty. Yeah, but you're still out your car. You got to drive a courtesy vehicle. You got to go drop the thing off at the dealership. It doesn't make any sense, you know, like just having a car that you can hop in any day of the week at any time and I want to drive to Milwaukee this weekend. Sure, you can do it in this car. You don't have to worry about anything going wrong with it. As long as you keep up with the maintenance, nothing should go wrong. Reason number 3 why the Crown Victoria P71 is the best daily on the planet. Versatility. That's the key word here, folks, is versatility. There is no other sedan on this planet that is this versatile. I mean, this thing can do anything you ask it to do. I'm a truck editor for an off-road and automotive magazine, which finds me in the dirt a lot. I'm constantly driving on some dirt paved road or dirt unpaved road somewhere out in the boonies. And what's funny is I was a little bit apprehensive about buying a sedan for a daily, because sometimes I drive my daily driver to these events. I'm not able to take my pre-runner, my Toyota, out with me. And you know what? It ended up being a really good move, because this car can handle the dirt no problem. Now, fun fact, the P71 is about 1.5 inches more ground clearance under it, and that's so that cops can hop up curbs and get up on the sidewalk and chase bad guys down, or whatever they got to do. But the suspension's got a little bit more height to it, so they can actually get up and over objects a little easier. Now, you're not going to be doing any rock crawling with this car, but that's not what it's made for. It's my daily driver. However, if I need to get to a video shoot location, or if I need to get to a camping spot where I'm going to be doing some video for a weekend, or whatever it might be, maybe a motorsports race that I'm covering, like Ultra 4 races or Baja even. There's a lot of places where I go with my daily driver to shoot video for Driving Line, or to shoot photos, or do a story, whatever it might be. And most of those times, I'm driving my daily. So this vehicle has to be able to perform under those conditions. And I'll tell you what, it is fantastic. I'm getting to a spot right here, a local spot for us, where there's some dirt, so I can show you guys just what I mean. But beyond that, versatile also means that this vehicle can do a lot more than just drive you to work and back every day. It's got a ginormous trunk in the back of it. I don't know if you've ever seen the back of a P71 before, but let me show you. The thing is huge. I mean, you can almost fit a motorcycle in the back of this thing, in the trunk. I've got a full-size spare back there. I've got a full toolkit that I take everywhere with me. That's my off-road toolkit. I've got my camera box, my Pelican box that's got all my camera gear in it, all that stuff. And then I still have room for like a cooler and a tent or whatever else I need, a bunch of other stuff. Just last weekend I was at Jump Champs and I had 2 coolers back there, a generator, fuel jugs, my camera boxes, and I had a drone box back there too. And I still had room to like put a whole case of water back there. I mean, it's amazing how much space that trunk has. And if you're traveling alone like I usually am, you've also got the back seat of this thing, which is another big compartment to put a lot of stuff in. Reason number 4 why the Crown Victoria P71 is the best daily on the planet. Safety. The Panther platform, like I was mentioning earlier, is one of the longest running platforms of any vehicle ever made by a North American auto manufacturer. One of the reasons for its success is that it's also one of the very last vehicles ever made that is a body on frame. As far as a sedan goes, there are no more sedans that actually have a full frame underneath the body. They're all unibody now. So that makes this car extremely safe, because it's very sturdy. If it gets into an accident, the frame takes a lot of the impact. It's not so much the body. Sure, there's a lot of newer vehicles out there these days that have safety features, you know, that prevent the passenger and the driver from becoming very injured. You know, they have advanced side curtain airbags, all that stuff. You've seen all of it. But usually the car is pretty much done after that, after an accident. It's like you get into any kind of a minor fender bender and you total the car, because the crumple zones are all crumpled, and you know, all the airbags deploy and everything's messed up and things are just done. I am a truck guy. I prefer to drive vehicles that can take more of a beating, a little bit more of an impact. Knock on wood, I've only been on one accident my entire life, and that was my F-250, and it needed a new headlight after everything was said and done. The car that was also in the accident with me ended up getting totaled out completely, and it was like a newer Jetta. So my point is that body-on-frame vehicles just tend to be more rigid, more sturdy, and more safe than most other vehicles. Another aspect of the safety of the Crown Victoria P71 is people just generally drive safe around you when you're driving this thing around town or on the highway. I mean, no one speeds past a white Crown Vic. If you see that headlight pattern behind you at night, you're not going to be speeding along. You're going to be driving slow. People don't cut you off. People generally just drive pretty good around you, and that's nice to be able to drive around and not have people cut you off, and you know, everyone's taking a extra precaution because they just think in the back of their mind, hey, that might be a cop. It's really a benefit because people just drive safely around you all the time. I love it. I drive on the freeway and people do 65 around me. I can do 70, but people do 65. Reason number 5, the final reason why the Crown Victoria P71 is the best daily on the planet, is the fun factor. I mean, what's a daily driver if you can't have a little bit of fun with it? Whoever said your daily has to be boring? I hate boring dailies. I can't stand a vanilla, Prius or something like that. It's just boring, man. Yeah, it gets you from A to B, you save money on gas, whatever. It's not that great. For $2,000, you can have a ton of fun in these things. I lobbed off the exhaust on this thing, so it's just open cats. Still legal in California. But you can do this! Rev up, baby! Let's go. 5,700 RPM red line. I love this car. It's so much fun to drive. People just kind of see you at first and they go, oh shoot, that thing's really loud. And they just think, okay, it's just some dude who bought a cop car. Yeah, guilty. But you can do this. Come on. Another aspect of how much fun you can have with the Crown Victoria is just how many modifications are available for this car. Now, you may not think, oh, Crown Victoria, tons of mods out there, but it does share a lot of the same components with a Mustang GT, and that's really nice because they make a ton of parts for the Mustang GT. The 2-valve 4.6 modular motor they have in these cars up until 2011 when they discontinued it was used in the Mustang from 1999 to 2004. A lot of those modifications from those Mustangs can be carried over. Internal components of the motors, intakes, things like that, easily fit onto the Crown Victoria. And then there's other websites who actually do make specific Crown Victoria parts, like ADTR.net. They actually make a ton of Crown Vic parts. They make stainless steel long tube headers. Can't use those in California, but they make them. If you live in a place where it's legal to run those, you can. X-pipes, catbacks, supercharger kits, turbocharger kits, just all kinds of stuff you can do to these to hop them up. I mean, there's guys out there who are making 300, 400, 500 horsepower with these, no problem. It's stuff that they can just buy on the internet. They don't have to fab up anything special. I'm not a huge proponent of going full kill build on a daily, just because I like to keep that dependability and be able to buy parts for cheap and replace parts for cheap and things like that, which is hard to do once you have a really hopped up motor and a bunch of other work done to this thing. But for those of you who do like to do that to your daily drivers, you can. It's very easy to do with a Crown Victoria, and I can almost guarantee you that it will make this thing even more valuable once you do go to sell it. So not a lot of those Crown Vics running around with a bunch of horsepower on them, but it is possible. So that's the cool thing. You're not going to run into blocks when you're trying to mod this thing. So I'm out here at a little dirt road area that's popular with local kids and their trucks, which they've pretty much graded for the most part, so it's not even that much fun anymore. But let's see if we can get into a little bit of off-road fun here. Oh, there's a little bit of off-road action. You know the Crown Vic's a great off-road vehicle when you're held up by the Chevy Silverado in front of you on the dirt road. Oh. I think it's been a while since I've been in my truck, and I got the itch to get back in the dirt and have some real fun with an off-road vehicle. But for now, this thing does really nice. Let's see if we can do a little donut here. Down to first gear. Let her rip. That's a lot of fun. Alright, well there you have it. There's my 5 reasons for why the Crown Victoria P71 is the best daily on the planet. Now let's review some of the points we talked about. First up, we have affordability. This car is just such a great value for what it is, and they're not that expensive to maintain, so we love that. Number 2, dependability. You can't have a nice daily driver if it's always in the shop or if it's broken down all the time, and you gotta constantly do repairs on it. Very dependable cars. That's another reason why I love them so much. Number 3 is versatility. This car can get me anywhere I want to go. If I have to go do a shoot off-road, if I have to go to the top of a mountain, whatever it may be, this car can just take it. It takes the abuse and it doesn't hurt itself in the process. It's got a ton of room, and it's very, very easy to get all my gear in the back of this and just go to whatever I gotta go to. Number 4 is the safety factor. These cars are extremely safe vehicles. That's why police departments and fleet vehicles use them all the time. Number 5, my favorite reason for why I love this car so much, is that they're a ton of fun to drive. You can hop them up, you can do some work to them, you can make them pretty quick, and they accept a lot of modifications that you can get from a Mustang, which is great. So they're just a lot of fun to drive. $2,200 is what I paid for this car, and I would do it over and over and over again. I mean, for some people, they like buying more expensive vehicles that have other issues and can't quite get to the places they want to go to, or aren't built for certain things, but this car can really just do it all. There's no problem. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This episode's a little bit more about my own personal stuff. I don't know if you guys like that, if you guys like me covering more things. Drop a comment below and let me know what you guys want to see. I'm going to be doing a few more trips coming up soon, so you're going to see some of those coming up. If you guys like this series, Chasing Dust, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to Driving Line. I'm going to be doing more of these episodes. Hopefully I can get myself into some cars to review for you guys and show you guys a little bit more about my other project, which is my 91 Toyota pickup pre-runner. So we got a lot more cool content coming up, so make sure you guys follow along. But until next time, guys, this is your pal Desert Chief, Chasing Dust. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.